You're exhausted. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. Deeper than that. The kind that lives behind your eyes. The kind you feel on a Sunday morning when there's nothing to do, and that emptiness terrifies you more than the chaos ever did. You don't stop moving. You can't, because the moment you slow down, something catches up with you, and you don't want to know what it is. So you stay busy, you stay distracted, you stay fast. But here's what nobody is telling you. That speed isn't strength, that busyness isn't purpose, and that the life you're racing through, you're missing every single second of it. Think about the last time you were truly present, not half scrolling, not mentally composing your to-do list while someone was talking to you, not eating while watching something just to avoid the silence. When was the last time you sat with yourself and didn't immediately reach for your phone? You can't remember, can you? That gap, that inability to just be, that is the wound. And you've been running so fast that you've never had to feel it. Here's the belief I want to challenge right now. You've been told that speed equals success, that a packed calendar means a full life, that multitasking is a superpower, that rest is something you earn after everything is done. But everything is never done. And the people who sold you this story, they profited from your movement. A distracted mind is a controllable mind. A busy person never asks dangerous questions, like, why am I doing this? Or, is this actually making me happy? Speed is the greatest illusion of productivity ever created. Carl Jung spent decades studying what he called the shadow, the unconscious parts of the self that we refuse to face. He warned us that what we don't make conscious will rule us, and we will call it fate. Most people living fast aren't chasing something, they're running from something. The grief they never processed, the dream they abandoned, the relationship they destroyed and never forgave themselves for, the version of themselves they promised they'd become and didn't. Jung called this avoidance through motion. When the inner life becomes too painful, the psyche escapes into external activity. More projects, more plans, more noise, more speed. You're not ambitious, you're afraid. And the tragedy is, the faster you run, the bigger the shadow grows behind you. This is the psychological root of it all. When you live in constant acceleration, your nervous system never exits survival mode. Cortisol floods your body day after day. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for meaning, connection, and deep thought, goes offline. You function on reaction, on impulse, on urgency. You stop living from your values, you start living from your anxiety. And over time, the person you meant to become slowly dissolves into the person who just keeps up. That's not a life, that's a performance of one. You think slowing down is weakness. You think stillness is for people who don't have enough to do. You think the restlessness you feel is ambition, when really it's dysregulation. That belief is the prison, and the bars are made of your own habits. The limitation isn't your schedule. The limitation is that you've confused motion with meaning. You've built a whole identity around doing, so that you never have to confront who you are when you stop. But you are not your productivity. You are not your hustle. You are something far more complex and far more fragile than you've allowed yourself to be. Here is the more powerful truth. The most dangerous thing you can do to the systems that want you distracted, to the version of yourself that runs from pain, is to slow down and become ruthlessly intentional. Depth is the new rebellion. Presence is the new power. When you stop racing, you start choosing. When you choose, you start becoming. And when you become, you stop being manageable. The people who have changed the world, built things that lasted, loved with real depth, they weren't the fastest, they were the most awake. So here's what needs to shift, starting now. First, stop glorifying busy. When someone asks how you are and you say busy like it's a badge, catch yourself. Busy is not an identity, it's a symptom. Second, schedule silence like it's a meeting you cannot cancel. 10 minutes a day with no input, no podcast, no phone, no background noise. Sit with what arises. That discomfort you feel, that's the unprocessed life you've been avoiding. Third, ask yourself every morning, what actually matters today? Not what's urgent, not what keeps the machine running, what genuinely matters to the person you want to become. Fourth, let some things be slow, a meal, a walk, a conversation. Stop extracting efficiency from every human moment. Some things are not supposed to be optimized. Fifth, face what you're running from. Name it, write it down. Because Jung was right, what you refuse to face does not disappear. It grows, and it shapes your choices in ways you don't even realize. Sixth, redefine success, not as the most achieved in the least time, but as the most fully lived across a whole lifetime. You came to this video because something in you already knows. You've been moving at a speed that was never yours to begin with. Someone else set the pace, the culture, the algorithm, the fear, and you followed it. But you are not built for endless acceleration. You are built for depth, for presence, for a life that when you reach the end of it, you actually remember living. The slow life is not the small life. It is the only real one. Stop running, start arriving. Now I want you to answer this in the comments. What are you actually running from? Not what you tell people. What you know in the quiet is the real answer. Be honest, because that honesty is where the change begins. And if this hits something real in you, subscribe, because every week we go deeper into the psychology of who you are, who you're becoming, and what's actually standing in the way. The work starts here.